Hi, I'm Heather,
And I am Mark.
and we are your open table entertainment critics.
We're not that critical.
I guess not. All right, so you're going to love this. This is a new segment that we are adding to our connection video repertoire, and it is going to be talking, actually, Mark and I talking about TV shows, movies, maybe a video game, who knows, that we have actually seen a glimpse of God in.
Yeah, and so for this first one, we're talking about the Netflix TV show Beef. And really, I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen the whole thing. I've seen 4 episodes. But so far, what I can gather, and tell me if I'm wrong, Heather, is that there's two main characters. One of them is a successful woman in the art industry, art and retail space. She's married to a stay-at-home dad and has one little girl. Very seemingly put together, wealthy. And then the other main character is a kind of like a home, kind of like a repair guy or a contractor of sorts, who's broke, like I mean broke, and making just choice after choice that is not positive for the most part. And they have a chance encounter in the first episode. Heather, tell us about that chance encounter.
The chance encounter that it's kind of funny because it happens every day. And it's a little bit of parking lot road ragey kind of situation.
Yeah,
Um,
and to say that there was road rage, there was road rage on both sides, and it just escalated real quick. But neither of them saw who was in the vehicle of the other person, so they made some assumptions, and I don't know. From there, like the contractor guy, um, pays a little bit of money that he doesn't have on an app to find. He had the license plate number from the video to find the address of the lady. He went to her house, pretended to be like just a contractor doing work in the neighborhood, made some recommendations on her house, and she believed him. And I don't know that I want to describe everything in a church setting, but inside of her house, he made a mess and took off running, did this just to spite her. And so it goes back and forth every episode with the two of them escalating their anger and rage and hatred towards one another. Does
yeah,
that sum it up, Heather?
yeah, first 4 episodes, that's a really good synopsis of it.
Okay.
Um, I love that you showed that the female seems to be pretty cut and dry, like upstanding citizens, so to
Sure.
speak. And then our broken friend, um, kind of like trying to get this like revenge. And this is where
And she
I
starts going for
personally,
revenge too, Heather. She starts
oh
going for
yeah,
revenge too.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of funny too because she kind of almost finds power through it
Hmm.
because she didn't seem very powerful at the beginning, nor did maybe your description of her kind of like maybe having it together.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's the truth either.
No, it's not. She's got a struggling marriage. She's got this business that's been all encompassing, like it just consumes every part of her life. I don't know. And the rage and the anger that she exerts towards the other character, nobody else in her life sees, which is hilarious.
It is like getting away with it, right?
Right,
Um,
right. Well, let's talk
and I
about the God
think
part. Where are we finding God in this, Heather?
so for me, I'm finding God putting this puzzle together for each of the players. And we get to see on the other side of it, almost like God. Um, but each of the entities aren't seeing that background in each person's life.
Right? For me, there's really kind of two ways that this happens, right? It's exactly what you said, Heather. It's kind of seeing the transformation of a person. But the more obvious place is in episode 3, which you told me to watch out for, Heather. And the down on his luck sort of guy, he used to go to church years ago, and he kept being invited back to church, and so he drives to this church. The worship team is singing songs. He has this visceral reaction, this emotional and spiritual reaction where he finds himself in this church service during worship and song, just weeping. And I don't know, I struggle personally because my faith experience, as a young person in a liturgical setting, we didn't have that much emotion. But then being part of an evangelical church for the vast majority of my life, middle school through, until a couple of years ago, there's that heavy emphasis on emotionalism, which sometimes can be abused. And I don't like that part of it, but I will tell you, I've had moments just like this guy had. I've had moments where I emotionally broke down and God was real and right there. What about you,
Yeah.
Heather? Tell me about that.
So I loved the actual realness of his spiritual experience as well. But at the same time, it almost like triggered me into a time where I thought that I had to react that way
Right.
in order to connect with God. I had to deal with that while I was watching the show. And I said, well, you know what? It's okay that I felt that I needed to do that as well. Super cringy at some junctures,
Mhm.
but I, for me, felt like it was great to move through that in contrast to where I am now in my spiritual walk and
Right.
then seeing where I was. For me, I like to see both ends of the spectrum.
I love this conversation. I love that we can clearly see God in the midst of it.
Yeah.
It's just such a good thing. Okay, Heather. Well, I'm only 4 episodes in, so don't spoil it for me. But I am curious to see how his relationship with the church kind of evolves, just like all of our relationship with God and the church does.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular transformation for both of our characters. But for right now, we're going to sign off as Mark and Heather of the Not So Critical Entertainment Critics.
Bye.
Bye.